Hi, you asked about addiction or drugs or addiction to drugs or something similar. Let me tell you what I think how to solve the problem of drug addiction. The first thing to realize is that drugs destroy lives. Drug taking, psychoactive drugs, illegal substances, illegal drugs are illegal for a reason. They're made illegal because they destroy lives, and when you are addicted to drugs, you spend money unnecessarily, you become poor, you render yourself poor, and you create problems for your family, you create problems for your environment, for your society, and you are not beneficial to yourself or to anybody else. So we agree that drugs destroy lives, and also internally you feel addicted, and you want more and more of this drug to get the buzz that you used to get with the lesser amount. And this you enter a vicious circle of despair and unhappiness and mental anguish and possibly mental illness. That's what drugs do to you, and also feeling very bad most of the time. So you feel very good for a little while, and then very bad for a very long time. So we agree that drugs destroy lives, and they are not conducive to happiness. They are not conducive to making you happy. So drugs are like that. So we agree that it is an issue and that we need to tackle it in order to save the person and save society from the non-beneficial acts of a person, of a drug addict. So now that we dealt with the first issue of why drugs are bad, and we've established that they're not good for you, that they are detrimental to society, let's look at what is drug addiction. Drug addiction, you can think of it as broadly made up of two components, one psychological component and one physical component. The psychological component is the habit that you get when you use drugs. The rituals that you do if you smoke joints, and the rolling of the tobacco with the drug, or with the injections if you do heroin or anything like that. So that's the rituals, and that's the habit. That's the psychological component. Also the fact that you have friends that use the same substances and you gather together, and there is some sort of friendship around those activities, and yeah, so that's we get the end. We understand that drugs have the psychological component, and you have the psychological addictive component. Addiction that's a habit. The second one is the physical component, which is the physical addiction. When you use drugs have an effect on your brain, on your neurons. There is receptors that these molecules of drugs fill up, and then you get a release of bodily drugs like serotonin, and it makes you feel very good. And that's why you get addicted physically to the drug, because it gives you a feel good for a while, until these receptors start becoming damaged, and then they don't anymore take the molecule nicely, and then you need more and more of this drug just to work on those faulty receptors. Right. So we talked about the physical component, the psychological component. We talked about how drugs destroy society, how they destroy you, how they can have an impact on your family, on your parents, on your children, on your environment, how they render you a not beneficial person for society, not even neutral. You could be just neutral if you don't use drugs, but you're not even neutral. You become such a burden on everyone, on society. So how do we deal? How does a meditator, a yogi, deal with this addiction? Well, a meditator or a yogi has a bag of tricks that he uses if he does at any point get sucked into drug addiction, or any addiction. It could be drug addiction, it could be even gambling addiction. So what does a meditator do? He uses two types of meditations, or three types of meditations that I'm going to suggest. The first one is self-approval. You'll be surprised how self-approval meditation can reduce the emotional and mental anguish that a person feels when he's trying to quit the drugs. So the first meditation is called self-approval. You approve of yourself so that there is no guilt, no hatred of self, no pain, no psychological pain. And that will help you quit the drugs because you have less pain. So it will be less hard to quit the drugs. So the first thing is to say, close your eyes. Notice your thoughts. Notice your emotions, feeling in the body. Notice how I became calm when I dropped into this state. Because I'm trained to do that. And you can be trained as well if you do meditation for a long time. And this is borrowed from meditation. So what you say is, I approve of myself. I approve of myself. I don't need to change to love myself. I love myself. I approve of myself. Say it again and again and again. This is called self-approval meditation. The second meditation that you need to do is called self-love meditation. So you wish yourself well. So you close your eyes again. Notice your thoughts. Notice your feelings. Notice the sensations in the body. Just notice for a while. Notice for a while. And then say, may I be well. May I be happy. May I be free from suffering. I love myself and I forgive myself. And then add a self-approval as well. And I approve of myself, and I love you, I love you, I love you. Say it and again and again. Love will reduce the pain, the psychological pain, the emotional pain. And this should help you quit the drugs because the pain of trying to not get in, because the drugs used to give you that. They used to give you this love, this well-being, this feeling. Now you're taking it from another source, not anymore initiated by the drug taking, but initiated by this mantra. Actually, what you're doing, you're releasing bodily drugs. That's what you should realize. You're replacing drugs with drugs. But these drugs that you're replacing with, they're beneficial to you. They are bodily drugs, and they help you without harming you. Okay? The third thing to do is if you have anger, because when you're quitting the drugs, you're going to have anger. You might have anger towards the self, you might have anger towards society, towards people. So what you say, you have to do universal friendliness or universal love. So what you do, a meditation of universal love, which is you close your eyes, you notice your thoughts, be quiet. Notice your feelings, relax, relax. And say to yourself, all beings on my right, may they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from suffering. I love them and forgive them. May they find joy and happiness in their lives. May they be free from suffering. All beings on my left, may they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from suffering. May they find joy and happiness in their lives. All beings above me, may they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from suffering. I love them and forgive them. All beings below me, may they be well, may they be happy, may they be free from suffering. I love them and forgive them. Say it again and again and again, and this should reduce. This is the medicine I'm giving you to quit drugs. Do this in your normal time when you take the drugs. If you take it in the morning, do it in the morning. If you take it in the evening, do it in the evening. If you do it midday, do it midday. Take about 15 minutes of this mantra that I showed you. This should reduce the pain of quitting drugs. If you do become weak and take the drugs at any point, don't torture yourself. Take it, calm down, go back and say, I approve of myself. I forgive myself for taking drugs, for becoming weak this time. I'll try not to do it again. So you don't do it again. Try not to do it again. If you can reduce the drug by 50% or 75%, it's an achievement. And notice, after only 1 week of quitting the drugs, your life is going to dramatically change. You're going to have more money in your pocket. You're going to be happier. Your skin is going to look better. You're going to sleep better, or maybe not. Even sleep, you can do the same thing when you can't sleep. Do self-love and universal friendliness, and that should help you sleep. Or if you don't sleep, it will just help you relax, like if you slept. So this is how a meditator or a yogi would deal with this kind of situation.